Welcome everybody to the Creators Table podcast. I'm joined here with JG Racing. Almost messed that up. I'm here with Jack and Aiden. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty great. Happy to be on here. Thank you.
Yeah. So Jack and Aiden, they drift cars. That is as far as I know of right now. So first off, why don't you guys just tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
So I drive a black Infiniti G35 right now.
Ooh,
It's a long story with insurance. We'll get into that later. I'm in a battle
gotcha.
right now with insurance, which
Gotcha.
that'll be entertaining. But I drive that. We drive a lot on the simulator, like Assetto Corsa. It's a lot of fun. That's some content's coming out with
Mm.
that, but mostly that. I want to start making clothing for the drifting, but for now it's just driving it.
Yeah, of course. So, drifting cars. And I don't know if you guys mind sharing this on the podcast, but how old are you guys again?
I am 16.
And I'm 14.
And you guys are comfortable sharing that on the podcast? Just
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
okay, cool. So you guys are 16 and 14. So that begs the question: when did you start drifting, and what was that circumstance like?
So I started, this is actually, I want to say when I was 12 on the simulator, like when I first got like a wheel, I just started practicing on that.
Hmm.
And then at 13, I bought my first actual car, which was a 2000 Mustang. And I drove that for a little bit. Car had some issues, ended up selling it. And then I kind of got out of it for about a year and a half. And now we're full back in it. So
Wow. Yeah. Since 13. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, I was
yeah.
practicing just to drive normally at 15, so, I'd say that's quite impressive. Is it the same for you, Aiden?
It's a little different. Jack, he's able to own cars and stuff.
Hmm.
What I was doing back then, like a little before me and Jack met and stuff, was my dad and I, we'd build these very, you know, not well put together go-karts,
Oh,
and
heck yeah.
I would just go, drift, mess around.
Hmm.
And I started really getting into it and like trying to make the go-kart set up to what a drift car would be like.
Yeah.
Uh, but never really had the funds to go drift a real car.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like when it comes to cars, I know just enough to get by. And then with drifting, probably none. I know the what the physics of that, right? But I don't
Mm.
know. I cannot confidently say I've drifted a vehicle before. I mean, I drive a Toyota 4Runner, so I don't know how
You
good
could
that
get
is.
that thing loose. I mean, with a little driver mod, you could probably whip that around.
I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? Maybe this would be inspiration for me. So what? So did you guys? Are you guys big car guys? Would you say then, or you just like drifting them?
Yeah,
Uh,
no, I'd call myself a car guy. I've always
yeah,
been into them.
a little bit of both.
Okay. Did you guys? Do your parents drift cars, or was it just straight? You were an oddball.
My parents, I had to teach them everything about drifting. They knew absolutely nothing.
Oh well. I
Uh,
mean, to credit your parents a little bit, I feel like the average person probably knows
Yeah, I have
none.
no idea.
So, uh, and where were you guys doing this at? Curious.
So, I took the Mustang to the track once.
Hmm.
A lot of the time, just was messing around in parking lots. That's where all the like the fun, real
Yeah.
experience I would say I got from
Yeah.
until I got
I
busted.
gotcha.
Another story that we'll get into later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of stories that go along that same type road, huh? I mean,
Oh yeah.
um. So what was your would you say is Cars your favorite Disney movie? I mean, it's gotta be.
It's up there for sure. I like Cars 1 and 2. I didn't like the third one.
Okay. Okay. I mean,
yeah,
what
for
what do
sure.
you think, Aiden? Is Cars 2 a good movie?
It's pretty solid. Kind of steers away from the whole cars thing. It's more of like a spy movie, but it's still very
Yeah, it
good.
was a total curveball.
Yeah.
Just throwing in spies. It was
But
crazy.
it's a solid movie, man.
So yeah, I mean, all I know is that like when I was growing up, I just really liked. It's funny, I didn't really get that into cars, but I really liked things that moved. I don't know why. I like
Mm.
trains, I like cars, I liked all that type of stuff. But as far as how my car love, went, it was RC cars, and then it kind of just died off there. I mean, I do like cars, don't get me
I
wrong.
Mm.
I thought about getting
Yeah.
into RC drift cars for a little bit. That was something I thought about doing. Never fully did it just because it was expensive, but that seemed cool.
Oh, it's like
Yeah,
it's a rich dad hobby. It
for
really
sure.
is. It's almost worse than cars. I mean, it's like you get so you don't give as many opportunities to use it, in my opinion. And
Hmm.
there's like it's like a whole section of YouTube people don't even know
Oh yeah,
about.
my
Um,
little
Oh yeah.
brother's big into RC cars. He loves them,
I
as well as my uncle.
yeah.
He likes RC cars, RC planes. RC planes can
Hmm.
get expensive quick. I mean, like,
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you seen like Tyler Perry's like RC plane collection?
Yeah.
My uncle showed me
Yeah.
that, and it's like 100K or something like that. It's crazy, and like the planes are like 12 feet long. It's unreal.
It's
That's nuts.
awesome. It's so cool. I was
Oh, it is
thinking
cool.
it's just crazy that like it's one of those things. If I had one, I mean, if I'm stupidly rich at some point, of course I'm getting an RC plane collection. I mean, who's not? You know,
On Literally.
it's just
And he
sitting
has
out
like I
there.
think he has a private like landing strip or like a runway. So sick. Like
That's
that's
awesome.
goals. That's like the cool goal.
Yeah.
I think I'm like thinking. Speaking of Tyler Perry, I'm pretty sure he has like his own like hangar or something like that.
I'm pretty sure I saw a video about that.
I'm
Not
pretty
gonna
sure he
gonna lie.
does like a tour like in Atlanta or something, or in the Cobb County area, something like that.
I
Um.
don't doubt it.
So what would you say was like a what would you say was like an inspiration for you guys and like kind of wanting to pursue it, I guess?
I know what
What
the main one's gonna be, and it's gonna be me. Aiden can agree with this. It's got to
Yeah.
be Adam Oz,
For
the
sure.
goat.
For sure.
He's like
who is
he.
that?
If you ask anyone about drifting, like he's the drifting YouTuber, pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like the face of drifting as a whole, I would say.
Wow.
He's a
At
very
least
big
currently,
automotive
yeah.
creator in general, but he mainly does drifting. He does it professionally and also, grassroots style events, which is like
Mhm.
entry level.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. And he's a so it's crazy. It's crazy how YouTube has really impacted our generation, and I don't think a lot
Oh,
of people
so true.
in the like previous generation realize that. And even the people making YouTube videos realize that. I mean, just the past person I had on said that they were inspired by a YouTuber. So what age were you watching this YouTuber, and kind of what do they still make videos? Kind of.
Yeah, I think he's still uploading at least
Oh
somewhat
yeah.
consistently.
He's
I want to
making
say
good
like,
money too.
oh yeah, he is. He's loaded.
Yeah.
I want to say like the OG. Like when I was like 5, I watched the Ken Block video where he went through San Francisco, and that
Hmm.
was like a really big like.
Mm,
I just thought that was so cool at the time. That was a big one for me.
yeah. Um, I would
Rest in peace, by the way.
say, oh yeah, rest in peace, Kim Block. But honestly, early on, my dad kind of got me into cars. He was more of a, drag racing type of guy, uh, muscle cars and stuff. But he showed me the Fast and Furious movies, and
Hmm.
I saw Tokyo Drift when I was
Yeah.
probably 4, and I was like, that's sick. I want to do that one day, but never really, it wasn't really my thing when I was little. But I started watching Adam LZ and other YouTubers like Chris Fixit, and it made me want to do
This
it.
is the
But
goat.
obviously, I'm like 8 years old at the time, so it wasn't really
Yeah.
happening. But
But so it's kind of that's kind of crazy for me to think about. Again, I feel like we're just at different sides of YouTube and just all getting inspired in different ways. So
Oh yeah.
what was his videos like? Like was he just drifting in these kind of like I know there's all these different like kind of routes basically that people might take because they're curvy and windy roads, but is there like certain places that he's doing this? Certain like what's his content kind of like?
It's just he does mostly does like drift vlogs and stuff like building up the car and stuff like
Hmm.
that, going to cool tracks, mostly stuff like that.
So it's not just flat out like, oh, I just, get in the car and I drift some and that's a video. So it's building
Not
up
just
the
like raw
car.
footage, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
So why don't you tell us about that? I'm sure a lot of people don't probably I don't. So, let's just go from my experience. What are the types of things you need for a car to drift it, right?
Well, like the main thing, like no matter like what kind of drifting you're doing, like you need a welded diff or a LSD, which will pretty much lock up the rear wheels while you're in a slide. Because,
Mm,
to drift, a differential makes the inner wheel turn less than the outer wheel, which is like what
mm,
you want in a normal car.
yeah.
But these aren't like normal cars. You want them to be the same speed so that you can get like a slide. That's like the minimum. I would say
Mm,
you want coilovers, which is like suspension. You get like a tighter ride. Angle kit is helpful. It's like it just makes drifting easier.
mm,
You can drift without an angle kit. That's what I'm currently doing on this car. But
yeah,
um,
yeah.
those are like just like the super super basics. You can get into like crazy suspension bits and engine bits, but if you just want to go out there and have some fun, that's pretty much what I say.
Yeah, there's all
Anything.
sorts of modifications, right?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, there
and
is.
preferably have a manual transmission because
Oh
the
yeah.
clutch is a big part of drifting. You'll
You gotta have a
often
manual.
hear the term clutch kicking.
Mm.
Mhm.
Can
There's
you
even an
both drive
event
manual?
named
I assume you can.
yeah
I can.
on the
Wow.
simulator.
That'll be an uh that'll be a good tool to have other than
Oh yeah.
just drifting, you know. I
Yeah,
don't know if
If I wasn't into
anybody.
drifting, I'd probably learn it. It's fun. I mean, I don't know why
Yeah.
people don't do it anymore. Like my
Yeah.
I daily drove my Infinity for a while, and it was just so much fun driving a manual.
Yeah, I need to. I've told myself I need to learn. I've practiced like a few times. It's really not getting good at it's difficult, but getting just to be able to where you can drive the car isn't insanely difficult. It's just something you have to practice, right?
Yeah, it can get really frustrating. So on my Infinity, I have a stage one race clutch, which
Mm-hmm.
like engages super weirdly and like aggressively. So like for the first month of driving, I would definitely get like pissed off on the car a lot. But other than that, I mean, after that, it's pretty easy. It just becomes like you just like you don't even notice that you're shifting. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna shift. It's just becomes a habit.
When did you get this car? How long have you had it?
So I am currently on. This is my third drift car. I got the
Mm.
Infinity like end of summer. So I all right, we're gonna just do the full story of the drift car. So I
Okay.
had the
Yeah.
red car, sold it, and then a year later, after I got into dirt biking for a little bit, crashed. Another story.
Yeah.
And then I bought a 1993 BMW 325i, which it was a rough car, had no interior. It was like 1,900 bucks,
Yeah.
but it was manual. It was a drift car and it ran good. So I was like, you know what, let's run it.
Yeah. It's
Built that car up for a while. I mean, I want to say like 500 to $1,000 into it, and I sold it for like 4K. Made a little profit, and then I
yeah.
bought a little daily driver. I bought another BMW, but it was not a drift car. It was an automatic, all-wheel drive. That's another thing you need for drifting is rear-wheel drive. Just thought of that.
Mm.
And then I sold that, and then I have the Infinity now, and the Infinity is current drift car that I plan on keeping for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely impressive at your age being able to, uh, kind of put in that work and be able to do that. That's a really. I mean, cars is an expensive hobby. It's probably
Oh,
one of the more
oh
expensive
yes,
hobbies, and that's
yeah.
not
It's
just
it's not
something.
it's not cheap at all.
Yeah, that's why you don't see a lot of people with huge car collections unless they're extremely rich. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, that's cool though. Do you have a name for your car?
Ah. I I haven't I don't really name my cars because I don't ever want to get too attached to them where
Oh,
like
yeah.
I can never sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of just I see cars as like I'll use them, I'll get my use out of them, but I can always like get rid of it.
Like a tool.
Um exactly,
Yeah,
it is kind
that
of like a
is a
tool.
really good way to view cars. Like obviously they lose value but again, if you, but and sometimes they might gain value. Who knows, depending on what you're
It's like new
investing.
cars. That's what mainly loses value.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
like
it's true.
pretty sure like Dave Ramsey said like if you drive off the lot, you lose like 10K or something like that. Like
Yeah.
that's just the big thing with new cars. But other I think used cars, if you're smart about it and you like know the market,
Hmm.
you could buy a car as an investment.
Yeah, of
So
For
course.
sure.
Yeah, as long as you just leave it better than how you found it. Maybe it
Yeah.
depends.
exactly,
Um.
literally.
Okay. Yeah. That's. So what is it like on the simulator? You kind of mentioned the simulator, but I have no idea what that is.
Simulator is probably the best tool that anyone can. If you want to get into drifting at all, before you buy any car, buy a wheel, you don't even need a PC, just use like an Xbox. Go get Assetto Corsa. That's the game that everyone runs. It's almost one to one to real life. It'll put you in a car, get you like the muscle memory without,
Hmm.
crashing into a wall and dying. So
Yeah.
That's a very interesting kind of thing to think about because there's like that movie that Grand
oh
Gran
yeah,
Turismo.
Gran
Turismo.
Turismo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good movie. I like that one.
Very good
that's a
movie.
crazy thing to think about that you're playing. What's the game? It's Grand Turismo, right?
It
Is that the
the
game?
game is Gran Turismo.
Yeah,
That
they're
game is more for like road racing and stuff,
yeah, of
but
course.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just crazy to think that you're playing this video game and then that. I mean, it's not super far fetched to think that those skills are going to transfer over into a real car. It's just shocking that it actually did, you know?
But yeah,
Yeah.
you can ask anyone that like, well, at least some of the like old heads in drifting would be like, nah, you got to get a car. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But a lot of the new people are like, yeah, the Sim's the way to go. I mean, it's also like so much cheaper than a car.
Yeah.
Like,
Very cost effective.
Yeah. I would
like it'll
say,
get
Yeah.
you, the most seat time. You're not breaking an axle on a Sim. You're just going out there and
Yeah.
having fun.
yeah, I would say it's a pretty substantial financial difference in a whole car. Especially, if you crash in the game, it's no biggie deal. You just restart. If you crash in real life, you know. Um,
Oh yeah, like,
A lot of money.
it's one of those things where it's really kind of interesting that you guys are on here because obviously this podcast is all about not only artistic and creative people but just overall passionate people about something that they do. And it's kind of one of those things where drifting's it's and you can classify it as an art form just like how you can classify dance as an art form or boxing as an art form. It's something you do that you have to dedicate a lot of time to get passionate about, and it's a skill. So
I don't disagree.
would you say this is something that you get a lot of attention for?
I mean,
Uh,
you get enough. It's kind of it's still a little like low key in the motorsports world. Everyone
yeah.
like when they think about like motorsports, they think about like NASCAR and F1. Like
Yeah, of
drifting is
course.
one of the smaller ones. It's blowing up like very rapidly, but it's still in retrospect pretty small.
Yeah. Drifting has like I feel like it has its bouts throughout the years. Like it'll have a peak throughout like 5 years and that kind of dies
Hmm.
down and then goes back up. Just in terms of the motorsports world, like I know when it first came on the scene in the early 2000s, like it was a huge thing because a lot of the competitions and events were like it was if like NASCAR was just letting anybody get in the seat and go drive.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, in terms of drifting, though, like if you watch any of those old videos, they're not really linking the track. There's a lot of spinning out.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Nothing was really too advanced in terms of modifications and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Do you
Yeah, the
guys
drifting skill gap is insane. Like just to go from if you like you can take like a grassroots guy and like if you compare that to an experience of like the top level of drifting is called Formula Drift, like the skill between that is just insane.
Oh, for sure. Because
yeah.
it's very different cars and setups, and also tracks is a big thing. A lot of Formula Drift tracks are very open and like very you have to be on throttle a lot, or they're like banks that you have to be on top or like pretty close to the wall. In grassroots, usually it's like a what's known as a skid pad, basically just like a big open concrete pad that you go in. There's like
Parking lot with
cones for
trees.
layouts. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
Where are these tracks at? What have you guys been to many of the tracks or?
I've been
I've
to a
been to
couple.
two.
Yeah, yeah.
So well no, so I've only driven at two. I've been
Mm.
to a lot more.
Yeah,
The main one, the main one in Atlanta is called Lanier. Have you heard of Road Atlanta?
I have not actually.
So Road Atlanta is like the big track in Atlanta, hence it's called Road Atlanta. And across the
Mm.
street, there's this place called Lanier, which is a go-kart track I think it's like by weekday, and then on the weekends they host weekly drift events and then just other stuff. And it's pretty much just like a
Oh.
massive like dome, but it's also paved in on the inside. I
Yeah.
love that track.
Oh, it's an
It's
indoor
super fun.
thing?
No,
Oh,
it's
oh.
outdoor. It's like
Oh,
a
sorry.
I may have worded that wrong.
No, you're fine.
It's just like a massive like dome, or not like a dome. It's like
Think of it as
I don't
like a
even know.
NASCAR track, but a little smaller scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
like
I
an
know what you
oval,
mean. Yeah, like kind of like a
like an
bowl type
oval
shape.
track.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I kind of
Oh, good.
understood, but I was, anyways. Yeah, that makes sense. And this is in Atlanta, right?
It's in Brazelton, so it's like an hour and a half out of Atlanta, but it's not too bad.
Okay, and is it? And you said on the weekends they just kind of let anybody kind of come out there and practice or drift.
On every Friday night, they host Friday night drift. They do Sunday drift, and then a lot of Saturdays they host drift events. So they host a good amount of events. I'm happy with it.
Is competitive or like is there competitions? Like is there anything at stake?
Oh yeah,
Oh, for sure.
there's
Uh,
a Excite GP. I know that's the big one in like the South. It's like
Mhm.
a series of battles, and I think it's a 10K cash prize.
Oh
which is
wow.
Pretty
pretty
close.
good for drifting. There's
Clutch kickers. You want
another.
to tell me about clutch
Yeah,
kickers?
yeah. We'll get into the Clutch Kickers lore. So, Clutch Kickers is this event that was put on by a very great man of the drifting community, Michael Castleberry.
The
Hmm.
goat.
Uh, it's I'm pretty sure it's the like biggest payout in drifting events probably ever. It's a
Wow.
$100,000 drift series.
Ooh, that's a
Uh,
lot of money.
Oh yeah, it's like a
the
Mr. Beast
winner,
deal.
yeah, the winner of each round, number one is granted 10,000, and the payouts go all the way to I think the 16th driver, and I think that just goes back to like $500. But if you were
Wow.
to win every event, I'm pretty sure it adds up to 100,000. And for
Dang.
qualifying, if you're the number one qualifier, then you are granted $1,000 and a champagne bottle for both winning the whole event and qualifying.
That's
That's up.
that's awesome. That's I mean to do something like that. So have you guys entered these competitions then?
Nah, not yet. I'm trying to get there.
That's
That's
the
like
goal.
my main goal in
Mm.
in this year is I want to compete. So they got shut down for how many
Oh
years? Like
yeah.
3 years now.
So they had to move tracks in 2021 because I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but there's a drag strip also on the property. The whole place is Emerald Coast Dragway,
Hmm.
but they had to move because something happened with the owners of the land, and they just had to move tracks. They weren't allowed to be there anymore, so they
Mm.
moved to a track called Freedom Factory, which is in Tampa, I believe. Uh,
I think so.
Another big figure of the car community, Cletus McFarland, owns it, and they
Cletus
did.
McFarland. Great
Yeah,
name.
he's
Phenomenal
a great
name.
Most
guy.
American name
It
Oh
is.
yeah,
ever.
most American
Sheesh.
man.
I mean,
You got
Uncle
a mullet
Sam
too.
and
I mean, you
Uncle
can
Sam,
imagine it.
John Smith, and Cletus
Cletus
McFarland.
McFarland. Hell
Lucas
yeah, brother.
McFarlane. Yep.
But
His whole intro is just hell yeah, brother.
Oh,
yeah.
That's it.
he leans on the bit then, huh?
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Um, but 2022, they did their events at the Freedom Factory. It's a big bank track, but there's an
Similar to
infield
Linear.
part. Yeah, it's similar to Lanier, but there are like patches of grass, spread across
Hmm.
just for like it's almost like a road course type of thing in the middle, but um what ended up happening was Clutch Kickers couldn't fund the event. I don't know if it had to do with Michael Castleberry's like uh I don't even know. Like I don't know if he was running out of money or what, but they just weren't able to host the events there. They only got to round 4 of the series and there's 5 rounds. And then it just was kind of radio silent for almost 2 years. And then in July of last year, they announced that they would be moving their track and operation to a place called Mid Pond, which is in Alabama. It's
Hmm.
just this. It's like it was a shifter cart track in the early 2000s. Somebody bought it and turned it into a place for people to do road racing and drifting and all this. But Clutch Kickers is moving their operation to Mid Pond, and
Hmm.
the actual business and brand itself being handed over to the guys at Mid Pond. And we're just waiting for the first events to come. There is supposed to be, I think, practice days pretty soon, or if they've already happened. And I believe in March or May is the first event, or April. So
Okay.
it should be
Hopefully,
cool.
I really want to drive that competition, and that's just that track in general. It's a super sick track.
Yeah.
It has like
Yeah.
it's called mid pond because there's a pond in the middle, so you're
Yeah.
like drifting
Oh
around a
yeah.
pond.
It's a very beautiful pond. It's got ducks and
Great
stuff in
pond.
it.
Hmm,
A lot
there
of
you go.
trees.
And drift around the geese, you know? That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. That's kind of that's got to be the. Do you guys drift? Like, would you guys say you guys are like a team? Like, is
Uh,
that a?
you know, online
Kinda.
and stuff.
Yeah.
We kind of how we met and stuff was through a YouTuber who does drifting. We're not
No longer does
very big.
drifting anymore.
Mm,
Yeah, we're not really big fans of him now because of some stuff that happened a while ago. But
mm.
we met in there. It was like a watch party for the series Formula Drift, and me and Jack just kind of hit it off, and we played some drifting games together.
Cool.
Some ones on Roblox, and
Oh
there's
heck
this
yeah.
one, yeah, there's this one Car X Drift Racing that we played a ton, and we
Mm.
had a little team going on. Like they have online competitions in the game that you can just join, and it's like I think top 16, and we had like kind of matching cars and stuff,
Heck
and
yeah.
it's pretty fun, man.
And people said that Roblox is brain rot. I tell you
Nah, dude,
wrong.
it's
No, man.
good. It
Roblox
was
is
kind of
bad,
bad
man.
though.
There's
I don't.
crap on there. That's for
Oh,
sure.
for sure. There's some bad stuff on there.
There's
A
definitely
lot of
is.
degens.
Oh god.
I played
A lot of
Fusion
Rabbit
Football
hole.
on there religiously. Okay,
It's like a good game.
that's a good game. I
That is a
I
great
almost
game.
would play that over Madden.
Mm.
Wow.
That's a bold
That is
statement,
that
you
is a
know.
reach.
Hey,
That is a reach, man.
it is my hot take to bear. Okay, you
I
This
know
mean,
is true.
it's
a lot
it's
of Dressed to Impress is pretty big now.
Dude,
That's a
Dress to
big one that
Impress is
everyone's
some.
playing.
It's dude. They need to host like drift event style competitions on Dress to Impress, like
What?
fucking
just to
10K
impress.
prize. That'd be awesome, dude. Like
Oh heck yeah,
imagine
dude.
a
Oh, like
100 grand series Dress to Impress.
Mr. Beast video there.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I'm gonna give $100,000 to whoever designs the best dress to impress outfit ever. Like,
Exactly.
That'd be
Now you know
awesome,
here's
dude.
a business
Sign me
idea
up.
actually. What if we did like a Dress to Impress but with like cars? Like you build a car, like and then people
Mm,
like vote on it.
that's
Wait, am I
yeah.
cooking?
no, that's a
Yo,
great
did I
idea.
steal a $1 million
Kind of
business idea?
like SEMA,
This
but
is
there's
Shark
a
Tank.
competition
I'm
aspect to
Kevin
it.
O'Leary. I will give you $10. Okay.
$10.
How much equity? How much equity are we talking?
How much? How much you looking for? I mean,
Man, give me about. I mean, you can honestly just have the company at this point. We're kind of in debt, but
okay.
Kind of going bankrupt. You want to take our
I like
debt or
going
what?
bankrupt.
I
Exactly.
mean, look,
Seven.
everybody is looking for debt these days. So, no.
Actually,
So that kind of leads into a good, funny question. Now that we're kind of on the topic, so this is a kind of a new question I'm implementing, but
Okay.
guilty pleasure. What's a piece of media art? Obviously, it's a little bit different for you guys. What's basically something that you enjoy that people might not expect that you enjoy?
Huh.
mm,
Like whether that be music or what?
Music art, mainly in the media type art realm, or if it's even like directly related to drifting.
Okay.
It could be you're
Yeah.
into Mini Coopers or like
Dude, Mini
Volkswagen
Coopers are
Beetles.
sick.
That's true, but if you have one, what would you say?
honestly, this is. I know Aiden's gonna hate me for this, but
Ooh.
I think it's fun to watch like the takeover, like the street takeovers. Like it's just funny to see like. Do you know what those are? Like, have you seen those? Where
I
it's like
don't think I have.
It's basically
the
they shut down an intersection and do donuts,
Oh,
but it gets labeled as
by the way, we
drifting.
hate these people. Like we
Yeah,
genuinely
okay,
we
that's
hate these
good.
people with a
there's a very
passion.
bad rep because it gets put
Mhm.
all in the media, people getting killed and hurt at these
Yeah,
takeovers.
it's a bad. To be blunt, it's a bad image for drifting, I imagine.
Oh yeah.
1,000%.
Because I mean, you see,
But
we live near Atlanta, so like you see videos of this
oh yeah,
all the time. You know.
People getting hit and flung like 40 feet across the street.
exactly like they're in a
Dude.
Rocket League, dude. It's insane.
It is kind of funny to watch. Okay,
It
it's
is.
very
That's
funny.
why it's a guilty pleasure. They're like because they're
Hmm.
just insane. Like they're literally like they'll just they'll put fires in the middle of them. Like they'll shoot fireworks out of
Yeah,
their cars. Like
yeah.
it's they're entertaining, but at the same time, like
Oh,
it's we don't like them.
that sounds like
Yeah.
a terrifying event to be at. I mean, just like the how close they get to and these aren't, not saying none of these people are talented drifters or whatever, but you don't know who these people are when you go to these things. This could be this random old kid who just decided he was going to try to doing this today. He could
And
swing around,
90% of
take
the
out half the
times
crowd.
there's
Yeah.
really no good drifters going to these. It's literally just like,
Mm.
people in Hellcats and like
Yeah.
Chargers and stuff just
35s,
trying to,
unfortunately.
yeah.
Yeah.
My car has a
Very-
really so I own an Infiniti G35
Uh-huh.
and they're like known as the takeover car.
No,
Like I
no.
said, I don't promote these activities. It's just a good car, but
Mm.
It's like the Nissan Altima of takeovers.
literally.
Well, I was literally about. It's funny that y'all brought this up because I was gonna ask, but I didn't want to. I didn't know how drift culture worked because I'll just be straight up. I mean, obviously, when I see the most recent drifting I usually see is when they're doing at some intersection in Atlanta and GSP rolls up and pit maneuvers some dude in a truck or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
y'all see that
Very
one
insane.
video? He pit maneuvers the dude in the truck and like rips him out of the car. It's hilarious.
I've seen
I
some
haven't.
crazy like GSP chases, dude.
GSP though is just on demon
They
time.
they
Like
have
literally.
like
Oh,
no
yeah.
regard for human safety, dude.
No.
They
I'm
just wanna
pretty
hurt you.
sure so I'm pretty sure they can like pit maneuver like a motorcycle at this point. Like they're on that level of
Yeah,
just like
that is in borderline just fatality. I mean,
1000%.
yeah, it's one of those things. We had gone on this trip and we had met somebody who was originally from like Texas, and she was
Mhm.
telling us about how she was like, oh yeah, isn't like it's like GSP there is like really crazy because we're telling her we're from Georgia, and she's like GSP is there is like really crazy. I'm like, no way somebody from Texas even knows how
Dude.
crazy.
Yeah. The GSP lore is
They don't mess around.
so Aiden's
Or-
not even from Georgia and he knows the GSP lore, you know?
Yeah.
Where are you
I don't
from, Aiden?
I'm from like the northern part, Northwest Florida area.
Oh, nice, nice.
You little
Flowride.
Floridian.
Yeah, Flow Rider.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Anyways, what about you, Aiden? Did you have something a guilty pleasure type thing?
Honestly, the only real guilty pleasure I have that people don't really expect from me has to do with music, and I'm a big bossa nova fan, dude.
I swear I
It's,
know who that is. What type
it's,
of genre
uh,
is it?
It's like jazz, maybe a little more muted, but it's very emotional, I would say.
Wow.
Emotional
Yeah.
jazz, huh?
Dude, it's pretty good. You gotta give it a listen. Like
Yeah, I
Stan
like jazz.
Getz and Luis Bonfa.
I'm
Hmm.
a big
Pretty
jazz guy,
solid.
but I've never heard of emotional jazz. That sounds like some.
It's not really emotional. It's just a little effort, maybe a little more watered down jazz. It's
Okay.
not very, like saxophone heavy. Sometimes it is, but you just have to give it a listen to know what know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you can't dish it till you try it, you know?
Yeah.
On Soul, at first I thought I was gonna hate it, and then I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is like good.
Okay, I'm glad we got some jazz appreciation out there. It's like
Oh,
I
yeah.
I would I would say I don't really hate any genre of music. I don't think. Every now and then I'm just like, you know what, jazz would be nice right now. You know, I even like when I was trying to find music for this podcast, I was like, I need some like jazz. You know,
Yeah.
need some like set the vibe.
Calm the listener down.
Wait, say it again.
You just gotta like, get the listener in the mood, calm them down a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
soothing.
so it's
Soothe them a little bit.
mood music. You know, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Now I'm wondering where else to go with this. I was really hoping one of y'all would be like dressed to impress. I'm a lover of dress to impress. I was really hoping you'd say that.
I'll play it, but
Honestly,
I'm not that good. I'll just hate on everyone else there. Like
Yeah.
that's just that's how I be playing just to impress. I'll just be like, yeah, that kind of sucks.
I just play the OG Dress to Impress. Like my guilty pleasure, I would say, for games and Roblox is think it's Fashion Famous. It's
Oh
not as
yeah.
detailed, but dude,
Is that the
I could
underground
get a
Mr.
podium.
Dress?
Intellectuals play that game.
That was like the original. That was the
That's for the
OG
real
dress
OGs.
dress. That's like prime, like fully blocks character. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this is
And I was
the
the goat on there, man. I was like the LeBron at that,
dude. I
the
like
James Dean, if you will.
yeah, yeah, bro. You invented it, bro. You were there. You were
Did
there
man?
at the creation. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Wow. This is the strangest conversation I've had on this podcast so far, but I'm all for it. Um, so what are some
Keep it going, man.
difficulties you guys have ran into, whether that be just learning how to drift cars or growing your platform?
Mm. That's
I would
a
say
good question.
the the biggest like hurdle for me is just like not having enough money or like stuff
Yeah.
breaking. Like that was the main thing on the red Mustang is I blew my clutch and transmission at the same time.
Oh,
Crazy.
Tragic.
And I was,
yeah.
13 at the time. I scrapped together every like penny I had to buy that car because, you
The
know,
piggy bank, dude.
Yeah.
piggy bank I had
Number
to.
one sponsor.
Break
Uh,
that open. Let's see how much I got. No.
yeah, dude.
And we had nothing.
I mean, it is
Yeah,
wild
money's a
for me
big
to
one.
think about 13-year-old you going out and buying a Mustang.
That was a crazy night though. That like just like the accomplishment because I had told all my family members like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and they were all like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then like the night I actually did, it, I was like, let's go. I actually did it, and then
Yeah.
it
Bruh.
ended up not being great, but that was a really that was like probably the most accomplished I've felt in life so far.
Yeah, you can flex that on all the other 12-year-olds friends you have. You can just be like, get wrecked,
Literally,
buddy. I'm driving a red Mustang to school. Okay? Like,
Yeah. Money's
my
a big
mom's driving
part.
my red Mustang to school, so unfortunate time.
Um, with growing media stuff, kind of a little shameless plug here, but I do make sort of kind of short films, if you will,
ooh.
or I have been pretty recently. I made a video called Vanisher. Uh, sorry for the plug, but you know.
No, 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 no. This is the whole point of this podcast. You go ahead and send me or get Jack to send me the link to this, and I'll 100% put it in the description. I put that thing on the application for links because it's whatever you want to share.
Okay,
That's really cool
sure.
though. I got a lot of short film people on here, so if you're ever looking for people who kind of are on the same type of vibe like you and are kind of same aspirations, then feel free to reach out to me because I know a lot of people now.
But yeah, with that, honestly, when I was making it, when I first got the idea to do it,
Mm.
it was kind of a like a I need to prove to myself and like other people that I could make something that's like worthwhile,
Yeah.
you know? And honestly, I really didn't believe in myself, but I put out a release date so that it would force me to, actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, honestly, I kept pushing it off, or I'd have these ideas, I'd film for it, and I'd scrap it all.
Hmm.
And then it was like probably October, where I actually locked in and got everything done. Found the
Yeah.
music, started filming for it, and then like it was the day that I dropped it. It was I did like a premiere and it dropped like 12 at night. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I really didn't think anybody was gonna like it because it's very weird, kind of creepy, very eerie and stuff. But I really thought like a couple friends would see it, get like 20 views, but honestly, it's not that big of a number. But it got like 1,000 views lately or
That's
recently, and
good.
dude, yeah, and I've
On
never really
YouTube,
had
that's pretty
anything.
good.
Yeah, it's hard to reach an audience on YouTube, I feel, because with platforms
Especially
like
on long form.
TikTok, yeah,
Well,
everybody's
went
attention
away.
span's fried, and
Went away in three
Mm.
days.
with TikTok, the algorithm is so random, but with YouTube, I feel like it's you got to make stuff that people want to watch and stuff that's
Mm.
quality, you know what I mean? So
This
people
is
say
a
it's like random, but like the algorithm or whatever, but honestly, like if you just like look around and like look at the videos that show you how the algorithm works, you just see that you gotta make stuff that people want to see and quality, man.
yeah. There's a
Exactly.
rhyme or reason to it. There's definitely a science to it for sure. I mean, this is obviously something I've I've been contemplating a lot, as you mentioned, Jack. TikTok, as of this recording, on the 16th of January, we're 3 days from the seem very likely ban of TikTok, which for a lot of people is a it kind of like what you said. It feels random, but for me personally, I can only speak from my personal experience. Yes, YouTube being successful on YouTube is way more valuable than on TikTok. It's way more valuable.
In money aspects, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I feel like you get more of a better relationship with the viewer, because
Yes,
I feel like
absolutely.
100%.
you absorb so much more from a YouTube video than you will like a 30-second clip on TikTok.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
However, then it is way quicker and easier to get rich on TikTok because
That is true.
you are basically pushing stuff out there to grab people and to give them the reason to watch your stuff. Which in some ways, I think using all of them as a tool. I like how people will try to grow their TikTok platform and then slowly migrate over to like Twitch and YouTube. And I think that's what I've kind of been trying to do because beforehand I was at like 13 subs on YouTube or something like that, and I had about
Yeah.
100 followers on TikTok, and then about 4 months go by, I'm almost at 400 subs on YouTube, and like currently,
Oh,
even though it's gonna be gone, 1.7K on TikTok, so
oh, that's
It's really
tragic.
good, man.
it is good. It again, TikTok being banned, it is a sore spot for me, not because. I'm not even going to get into the politics of it because, that I'll let people decide that for themselves. But I think
Yeah, I'm not a big politics guy either.
yeah, honestly, I'm just,
I haven't seen the politics on that. Like, I've just seen like I don't know, just like everyone says it's China, but no one knows for sure. It's a whole fiasco.
no, I think the only area and I think a lot of people should just look at it from is like, regardless of what happens and what is happening, it isn't just as simple as a bunch of 13-year-olds crying about TikTok being gone. We're talking like a lot of people's ability to be
Jobs, yeah.
successful is kind of being taken away. A lot of people's already found success. I mean, you got TikTok Shop, you got all this stuff where people are making a lot of money and practically making a living off of this.
Literally.
And
I mean, I hate to use the word, but people are like gonna lose their jobs from it.
it's probably
Yeah,
going
I
to
hate
be
to
one
say
of
TikTok
the,
as a job, but yeah,
income.
and you think
it
about
is
it,
their
it'll
source of
probably be one of
income.
the largest layoffs in history because
Yeah.
it's like over millions of people who make decent money enough to live off of, and
Hmm.
all of them are losing that source of income just like that.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I feel like that people that have blown up like from TikTok, or at least have somewhat like transitioned to like Reels, Shorts, all that,
Hmm.
because that's where I've never personally had success on TikTok, but
Yeah.
I've had really good success on Reels and actually Spotlight. Shout out
oh
Instagram
yeah.
Spotlight. I mean, I
Oh
uploaded
yeah.
one video on there and I got a lot of views on there. Shout out
Spotlight.
that, but
Like
hmm
I think I don't know if Jack's real tapped in with them, but I'm friends with this dude. His name is Tyler Jones. He's like a
Okay.
skateboarder and he does some car
no,
stuff.
I'm tapped in with T
Uh,
Money. Don't
oh, he's
doubt.
tapped in with T Money, but
Tapped in with T Money.
like he got kind of famous on TikTok because
Hmm.
he would just like go up to girls and then like his friend would like go and pants him or he would just do like
Yeah.
embarrassing stuff in public.
Yeah.
But he did like a lot of TikTok live stuff, and like the income you can get from just
Oh yeah.
streaming for an hour is crazy. Like
Yeah.
it, it's
If you figure out kind of if you just figure out what's working and you can just keep doing that, like, it's a big source of your income for sure. I mean, for me with like kind of growing my stuff, I'm planning to start reaching out and not just doing this, especially now that TikTok's gone and uh, a lot of my attention on short videos is going to be taken away now because I think Reels is, it's a solid backup. It also just depends on what you're doing. For me, it's just for
True.
my type of content, it just doesn't work as well. Um, it does work in some ways, yeah, kinda. But and maybe I try it out more, do some variety.
Okay, You could
Yeah.
definitely upload like podcast clips, put
Yeah.
some Subway
Yeah.
Surfers on there, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I'm
That stuff gets popular, man.
unapologetically. I'm like, I might just have to throw in some like kinetic sand cutting. I don't
Dude,
know.
literally. I mean, kids
Dude, it's
don't
the
have the attention
recipe.
to. It is the recipe. There's no shame in doing it. Everyone does it, so.
It is the recipe.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple other questions for y'all because we're reaching that time. What's
for
I know. This is, what's a piece of advice you guys would give anybody in your similar situation?
Honestly, just like never give up. Like no matter like if your transmission blows up, if your clutch blows up, like you're like if like you're into drifting, like stuff's gonna break like that. Like it's all fixable, and you just gonna have to like keep that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So just like never give up. Always like think like, yeah, I could fix it. I can do this. Like
Mhm.
anything is possible. Like as I'm getting older, I'm just coming to realize that like you can just do
sure.
whatever you want that you put your mind to.
Yeah. Amen.
There's some unk wisdom.
Some unk wisdom, yeah.
Uncle. Yeah. Y'all.
I've got a pretty solid quote that I like to use pretty often. You never know what it's like to win until you lose.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like, let's say for instance, you go to a drift event and you just win it right off the bat. You're not gonna know what it's like to, what it really feels like to win if you just win it instantly.
Yeah.
Because you gotta kind of go through the sort of trials and tribulations of like losing and learning what to do, and it just makes the victory so much better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Amen.
Yeah,
Is it have y'all seen the movie Talladega Nights?
dude, that movie's so good.
Is it bad that I was
That is a
hoping?
banger.
Is it bad that I was hoping y'all would say if you ain't first, you're last? Is that
Shake
bad?
and bake, baby, shake and bake.
Shake and bake. I was
Hell yeah.
slingshot. Oh man, I just had to. That was on the back of
Dude.
my mind the whole podcast. I was like, I gotta incorporate Ricky Bobby.
Dude, shout out Ricky Bobby.
Shout out.
That is,
if
that is
he's
another.
watching.
That's another go to
A goat.
motorsports.
Yeah.
So
Ricky
many good
Bobby.
ones. Well, thank you guys for being on. This was this was an experience for sure, and I think a lot of people are going to learn a lot from this because I think this is of all of the things I've had. I probably learned the most from this podcast out of anything because it's just something I know absolutely zero about and I've not tried. And you know what? Maybe I'll try it, and maybe the people listening will try it. But again, thank you guys very much for being on, and I want to thank the listeners. Obviously, if you want to go check out their stuff, I believe y'all have a YouTube channel and an Instagram. And then Aiden, if you wanna have your short film thrown out there, of course, it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you the link, and if I could just do another little plug, because
Of course. go
working
ahead.
on another video. It's called Choruscation. I'm making all the music for it myself, and I'm also
Wow.
filming and editing it all myself.
Amen.
So if you guys want to check that out, it'll be out around probably midsummer this year. And yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you guys. I hope everybody listening has a great day, and see you at the next one. Bye.